Happy Saturday, my friends, and welcome to the Console Overwatch multi-tier tournament. My name is Bull Skunk alongside Chef Billy, bringing us doubleheader action here tonight. We will have some Tier 2 action later on this evening between Experience Dankility and Valor Glory. But first, we're going to start off in Tier 3 with Saga fighting Dikdiks going up against Apollo here in what's sure to be a heck of a matchup. Billy, how are these teams looking so far coming into Week 4?
I mean, Saga right now, the fighting Dikdiks, are coming in with a perfect, almost perfect score as they were coming in on 11 map points, 3-0 record. They tied last week, one map against Rise, but other than that, it's a clean sweep all across the board from them.
The only blemish on that perfect 12-0. Yep.
And coming from Rise, one of the reformed teams, if I remember. So I mean, still a great start to their season thus far here in Tier 3.
Right.
On the other side, though, a former guest of your podcast, DVA My Podcast, the captain of Apollo and the owner of the org Apollo Rugby, and his squad are coming in on 2-0 with a 10-3 map score, +7 map differential for them. And they actually took a heartbreaking loss last week, 2-3 to the Hunt.
Right, put them at
losing
2-1 after that map 5 heartbreaker.
Yeah, I mean, they went 4-0, 4-0 the previous 2 weeks against Octalium and Seattle Peaks, whom we saw last night in a one-sided affair. So I can only guess what Apollo did to them. But man, so this is good. I think this is going to be a very good matchup. This is going to be a very good eye test to see where Rugby and his Apollo team stand here halfway through the season, going into the second third of the season, actually. I want to see if they've got a chip on their shoulder. I want to see how they're going to bounce back from that excruciatingly painful loss that happened to them against the Hunt last week. On the other side, though, Skate and Company, we've got some casting buddies over there. So, I mean, we're going to give them a little extra love tonight, if you know what I mean. No, we're going to have it's the same kind of cast we always do. I want to see how Corbeck comes in here and plays around with his healing, because I've actually never seen Corbeck play. I've seen Skate Action play, but Corbeck leading up that line is going to be actually really, really fun for me to see.
We'll see if they can maintain their perfect streak.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tanks versus tanks again. And then who busts out the more aggressive DPS, because that's the theme that we have seen so far this week is
right.
The DPS is actually carrying now. The tanks are doing their job. The supports are doing their job. It just depends on which of the DPS is going to show up.
Well, I think
today.
The compositions will be very telling on that. We've been preaching the Junkrat a lot this week with no Zarya around. You've got a lot of room to work with the Junkrat, and we've seen it put to good use. But we'll see. We'll see what these two teams have prepared for us as we head into our 4-map set. Oasis will be our first map of the night. We will go into Nambani for Hybrid, followed by Volskaya Industries for your Assault map, and round it out on Route 66 to round out this 4-map set. And then, of course, your hero pool for Week 4, as we started to touch on. And we will now elaborate Zarya out of the hero pool in the tank department. For your DPS, we will not see any Pharah. We will not see any Symmetra. And then in the support role, Lucio banned out here in Week 4 of the multi-tier tournament. So it's made for some interesting compositions. What do you think we'll see here today from these two teams, Billy?
I mean, right now, the Lucio is the biggest thing that we've seen this week that's been hindering teams, their ability to get onto the other team in a hurry. That's been taken away. So we've seen a lot of Moira. We've seen a lot of Baptiste in place of that sound barrier that is so crucial for the healing core. So we've seen a lot of interesting like Mercy bat plays, or we've seen a couple of Ana bat plays. We've seen Ana Brigitte. We've seen a lot of Brigitte too. That's the other thing. Which team is actually going to pull out the Brigitte this week?
And so far, both teams starting us off with the Brig, as we've got Saga in the blue jerseys coming in with the double shield with Reinhardt Orisa, bringing May and that Junkrat here on the first. Boy, and it is going to be clarity on the Reaper. Finding first blood, taking Tencent out of this fight. Now he's going in looking for more. But it is going to be the Maze coming in with the duel. And Apollo with 2 quick kills early on. Rugby following up with a third, and they're going to get control percentage starters for us here on Gardens.
Yeah, and the biggest thing right there was Tenzin going uber aggressive, like no fear, and he took a rock to the face from Guile, and then Clarity ended up cleaning up that kill. Man, that was a bit too much aggression coming from the main tank for Saga.
Now, we've got Apollo with that Gravitic Flux online as Saga's looking to come back in. Nice Maywall splitting Tenzin off from the group, and he's immediately deleted. Now Clarity turns his attention over to Korbeck on that brig, chasing him right on out of there. And Uprisor super low. Oh, just barely manages to get a toe on that wall and escorted back to safety there. That looked like a lucky turn of events. In the end, though, it is going to be Apollo still holding on here with 45% and counting on the board.
Yep, they've got a 4-pack of ultimates online ready to go. Rose is ready with his first coalences on the mat. Couple of big ultimates coming up online, though. We've got Blizzard, and we've got the Junk Rat Tire on almost online. So this could be a powerful DPS combo to kind of flip this point over and get the game back on to equal terms.
Tenzin split off from the group once again. So far, the May on Apollo proving very good with those walls. Coalescence coming out on the side of Saga as they look to push in, and Android finds the Raper. Good kill as he was 80% towards that Death Blossom, but they've got to be careful. There is a Blizzard coming out, and they somehow need to weather this cold. Tenzin cannot survive. Seion goes down as well. 2 kills coming through from an accretion from Guile. What a play coming out of that Sigma. And now Rally popped there on the side of Apollo as they're looking to hold on here. 88% on the board and counting, in full control of University and looking to take a 1-0 lead early in this series.
Man, based upon what you have seen as far as the map scores, as far as what the records are coming in, you might think that this would be a little bit going the other way, but right now, Kyle on this Sigma right now is absolutely destroying people, accretions, and just using his ultimates to the most exquisite fashion. I'm liking what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, didn't even need that flux in the very end. He had one in his pocket just in case.
Yeah, so what I'm seeing right now, Tenzin for the Dikdiks. I think that he's just a little bit over aggressive right now. He's pushing way ahead of where his supports can really be of use to him, especially with that Inspire healing coming out of Korbeck. He's a bit too far away to get the benefits of that restorative healing. The salubrious nature of Brigitte's Aspire healing. On the other side, though, Apollo, what they're doing right. Their focus fire is really, really nasty right now, and Clarity on this May is absolutely owning the spaces. He's denying retreats, he's denying space, and he's denying the healing coming into the main tanks also. So that's the biggest thing that I'm seeing right now, Full Scale.
Well, making a swap, Apollo going over to the Reaper here. Saga actually going over to a Reaper of their own. Maywall coming out early on the side of Saga, but it is going to be the Maze. Oh, once again, dueling. This time, Saga coming up on top of the May duel. And with that advantage, the Ice Queen and company pushing in. Saga looking for more as Rugby whittled down super low. Cannot survive. Tenzin's going to get the kill onto the Brigada as well. And Saga will be the ones starting us off here on round 2 of Oasis.
Yeah, and I mean, Dusty went over to the McCree, and Android Gamer decided to go, instead of going the Junkrat this time, he decided to go a Reaper of his own. So I think that he's got the brawl ability, and they were all up in Apollo's face there, and they just slugged their way through that and getting capture of this point here, Bullskunk.
Clarity going over to the Hanzo here as they look to come back in, perhaps looking for some more shield break, a little more pick potential. As there's a hold coming through. Tenzin able to fall back into his healers. Uprisor, not so lucky. Clarity coming up with 2 mean picks back to back. Excellent shots coming out of the Archer. And now with that advantage, they're going to try to push forward. Earthshatter coming out from Saga does find 3, and those 3 kills light up the feed. DX with the Deadeye in return. And as reinforcements from both teams were whittled down, Saga barely able to hold on here to the point. 45% in counting, but they've got to watch out for this McCree, who's now headed to the high ground.
You know, and Dusty right there, he actually popped his Deadeye there, picking up 1, did not get the Raging Saiyan on the Saga Dikdiks, and that would have been a huge pick if he would have picked him up out of that Deadeye. However, man, big plays coming from the DPS here for Apollo.
And now Dusty sitting up on that high ground, still able to just rain death from above. The Blizzard coming out from Saga does not seem to find much. We're going to get the Gravitic Flux coming out the other way. Apollo able to find 2 in that. Supercharger coming out from Saga as they look to survive, look to punch back. They've got the Orisa down low, but they've lost their Reaper already. Tenzin is going to drop it as well. They did end up coming up with the kill onto that Orisa. But now Clarity picks up a kill. Make that 2 kills coming through from the Archer. And it will be Apollo flipping this thing back over. But they're going to have to hold on as Saga is able to get 86% on the board.
Yes, and I think the DPS swaps were exactly the right swaps. However, Hydra's got to really keep a check on Android Gamer because he's got that Death Blossom in his pocket right now. So you've got to be ready with that stun or the flashbang from Dusty on the McCree. So we'll see. Should he be able to teleport in the back line and kind of use that to his best advantage?
Dusty's still playing that high ground up there so far. No reason for him to get off of his perch. Here comes the Dragons in on the side of Apollo. Wall's up. And it looks like Saga able to avoid the majority of the damage on that one. Now they're going to respond with the Coalescence, push in on the left side. They get that kill onto Clarity. Hanzo down. Brig dropping a rally there for Apollo. Rock hitting Tenzin as he's looking to push in, but here comes that Death Blossom right over the top of everybody. Health bar's going low, but no final blows actually coming through on that one. But they do have him split. They're using a nice Maywall to do just that. Android Gamer utilizing that division, finds 2. Rage and Seon coming up with 1 as well. And Saga will get this thing flipped over. I don't know if Apollo has time to get back here and touch. 90% on the board and counting.
Yeah, there's a big freeze kill, an icicle to the face to Guile from the Rage and Saiyan. 96% and counting. Here comes a touch from Clarity, maybe?
Dusty was there in the back. He actually managed to pick out Upriser on the Orisa. But he now is going to drop. Android Gamer picked him out. Blizzard there on the front line combined with the Earthshatter from Tenzin. And Apollo stood no chance against that ult combination. And we are all tied up here on Oasis.
I mean, once again, May Reaper is showing their dominance in any kind of meta right now as they are just able to freeze, deny, wall, and then dropping just the burst damage available from the Reaper has to be accounted for. And I think that Hydra really needs to check this Reaper player from Saga because he's just laying waste on the Reaper. There's no reason to change off of May Reaper for them. On the other side, I think they're doing what I would say I think they should do. They should mirror what they're doing right now and see if they can come out on top of it.
Well, it was Apollo initially starting us off with Reaper there. Round 1 found success. Saga matched him in round 2 and found equal success. Now we have both teams bringing out the Reaper May. Our only difference in composition. Apollo sticking with that Sigma, and Guile has done great work on him today. But Tenzin on the Reinhardt, also no slouch. Early Maywall, though, and that aggression you're talking about earlier, they run right into it, divided up right out of the gate. Fortunately for Saga, the healer's there to keep him alive. Oh, I spoke too soon. Tenzin goes down, runs into that tiny hallway, and gets met with a shotgun from Clarity. A little revenge kill coming out as Saga does take him down. 5v5 here on the objective, but it's going to be a DPS missing here for Apollo. And that leads Saga to try to push in. Seon drops. Despite that lack of DPS, Apollo still finding success on the kills. Tenzin returning to point, but he is divided off from his heals, eating tons of damage and getting really, really over-aggressive. He is going to fall, and Apollo is going to pick up first percentage here on University.
Oh, man, what an amount of stuff that just happened there. They actually decided that the small room was, in fact, the place that they wanted to punch each other in the face, and punch each other in the face they did. The healing right now, I mean, they're both running the same exact comps. That I mean, I just think that Beej right now is coming out just that little bit ahead, using the healing orb over the damage orb and managing to keep his spray healing N-Bay.
Apollo with a perfect plan there. They wall in the 2 DPS who get ahead of their tanks. DX and Clarity clean up. They do end up throwing a Blizzard at the end in there for good measure, but Apollo in firm control here. So far, this is their objective, looking to take that 1-0 lead.
Now, if we look at what Saga has done now, Rage and Saiyan has swapped over to the Junkrat for a little bit more burst and shield break. So, first change of this third match here goes to Saga.
Gravitic Flux coming out. Apollo has a whole host of ultimates to work with here. Coalescence response here from Saga as they're trying to push on the point, find some room to work, but there's just none to be found. Coalescence coming out from Apollo as well, pushing them back into this tiny corner. They're trying to wait it out all the while. Percentage just going up. Tenzin decided he's had enough. He's going to push on to point. That's going to spark the rally coming out from Saga as well. Oh, both tanks and the Reaper pulled into the pit. And now, Saga split in half. Death Blossom thrown in from Clarity. That's going to find one. And they continue to push half the member of Saga down into the hole and then clean up the other half. It is now Android Gamer's turn to make that trek down below. He is still just waiting on the outside of the point to touch. 97, 98%. Clarity is aware of his presence. He's going to have to use that Wraith form just to get the overtime win started. Moira coming on now. Both of them dispatched of it in equal fashion. Orisa, now the lone member on point. Wall trying to divide her up. Fortify you. She's turned back. Junkrat throwing himself onto the objective as well, but it is gonna come out on top with Apollo. The 100-0 victory and the 1-0 lead here in our first series of the night.
Man, DPS is carrying the day right now. The tank play from both sides, other than, Tenzin for the Saga Dikdiks. So he's a bit over aggressive at points. We both called it out a couple of times. Corbeck on this Brigitte right now, though, he is actually shoring up his team very nicely. I mean, the healers are doing their job. I think that maybe holding a Coalescence more for healing than for damage and killing, it was the difference between the two Moiras there. So, as we swap maps here, Bullskunk, I think that the willingness of both DPS duos to switch out what they're going to play, it's been a chess match between those two. We've seen changes from the beginning of map 2 and map 3, and then inside of the maps themselves. So right now they're getting in each other's heads, trying to figure out who is going to come out on top. What is the best way to aggress on the point? What is the best way for them to get the kills that they want? So,
well, Apollo, I think, doing a really good job with that Mei, and I don't feel like Saga quite dealt with the Mei. I mean, you've either got to tiptoe around her or push it in as a unit in such a fashion that the Mei walls don't split you off. And it was a very close battle. It was very back and forth. I think the usage of Mei on the side of Apollo was what gave them the edge there.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the Mei for Apollo, there was exactly what the doctor ordered. And watching the mirror match at the beginning of the third map there, I thought that it was a very good fight. It was just they got that first pick and they never let Saga wrestle control of the point from that time on. I'm telling you right now, Clarity on that Mei was walling them off with such precision. It was just dropping that wall in at the very last second when they were starting to aggress in and cooldowns were starting to be spent. He just dropped the wall, and then all those cooldowns, all that impetus that they had going on to the was actually just taken away from them. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing right now, though. I think this has the potential for 5. I'm going to put it out there right now.
I mean, Saga, that's the first map they've lost this entire tournament. So, yeah. I mean, that in of itself, already, we're seeing a little bit of an unexpected result. We're seeing a little bit of the underdog showing up here. This is going to be a good one.
Absolutely.
We are heading into Numbani for map number 2. That will be your hybrid map for this evening. Do you think we're going to get any change-ups in our compositions? And does it look like we're going to get any change-ups in our lineups, for that matter? Are we getting any subs coming in so far?
Well, as you say it, I shall say it. Hydra is going to come out for Lucky Dog OW on the side of Apollo. And then on Saga, Rouse is coming in for Android Gamer, and then our buddy Skate's coming in for Rose. So we're going to get the Corbeck Skate Action Caster support line. I'm excited to see this.
Yes, indeedy.
We love seeing our fellow casters in here in play.
Of course.
Yeah. So, here coming into Numbani, I mean, the high-low attack is something that we always like to look at. We like to see, are they going to throw in a bunker comp? Where are they going to hold for the defense? That's the first thing. Right. The second thing is the personnel that you're going to bring in. Are you going to bring in a Farah? Are you going to bring in a...
well, we're certainly not Cassini Farah.
No, I'm sorry.
Which is typically a great map for. I mean, I can understand why that's one of your go-tos. It is for me personally, as far as playing the map. But yeah, banned out this week, so that eliminates that option.
Yeah, and I got my weeks mixed up. I'm looking forward to week 5. Are you going to see Bastion? That's one that you could see.
Very much so. Right.
We saw double dive last night on Numbani. Defense and offense going at each other with double dive. So that could also be something that we see today. I mean, your guess is as good as mine with both these teams, but it looks like Apollo is very willing to run the double shield comp with the Rissa Sigma. So I think that we're going to see that both on offense and on defense from them.
Tank
for the other
lines
side,
did not seem to shift at all. We saw a little bit of shifting on the DPS front, but your support line and your tank line stayed consistent on both sides, with Apollo opting for that Sigma, and then Moira Brig on both sides there. I don't expect that to change. I think from what I can tell, these teams have prepared these compositions to go in sans Zarya, sans Lucio. But, you know, they could prove me wrong. It certainly wouldn't be the first time.
That's never happened to us ever.
No, we are never wrong here. We are never wrong. Okay,
I mean, it's moonwalk. It's moonwalking. We moonwalk. We're not wrong. We moonwalk. You know, we go walk it back. So, as we look as we're coming in and seeing the teams set up what they are going to run, yeah, there's a little bit difference than what maybe I would have expected. I like the long range comp that Apollo is showing here, with the Cowboy and the Shimada brother. That is very nice. Also looking at a discording ability and that all important transcendence. That's going to be very interesting with a Baptiste and Zenyatta as their healing core. Rugby and Guile right now, I mean, they're showing the better half of the tank lines right now, with Tenzin being just a tad bit overzealous in some of his engagements.
On the side of the defense, Saga showing us a little Reinhardt or reset as expected. We're getting the Junkrat Ashe in the damage department, as they're going to sit up on the high ground, see if they can take a good advantage of that pit composition. So far, not much damage coming down into Apollo as they go right up the gut. They managed to get onto the point with a little resistance from the defense here. In fact, Dusty finds first kill, takes Rouse out. So the long-range pit comp goes in favor of the attackers here. And now Rugby picking up the kill onto his counterpart, Orisa. Dusty coming up with a second. Tenzin drops, and this is going to be a lightning fast point on the board here for Apollo.
I mean, it was just a bit of a passive hold from Saga up here on the high ground. They threw the halt, and Rugby threw the halt and kind of picked them up. I'm not sure if they didn't know where that actually came from. So, bit of a little bit of a head scratcher there. But I mean, then the picks came through. Once that first pick came through, it was 5v6, and it was just game over from there. It was just clean up from that point on.
Still a little bit of the neutral fight here. Raging coming up with a nice early pick onto Clarity there. I think he had overextended a little bit on that right-hand side. Defense with a slight edge around first corner here, heading into point B. Halt coming into the front line. Rugby on fire as well. Both healers are there to keep that Orisa topped off and standing. So that means Saga trying to turn their attention onto the Sigma now, but Tenzin just finds nothing but those hyperspheres. Oh, Rouse answering right back. Picks up 3 kills in that. Holy cow, great shooting coming through on the Ashe. And that is going to allow the defense to hold here on some fantastic individual play from Rouse.
Wow, that's a 3K without an ultimate, without a mercy pocket as well. So that wasn't a damage boosted kills. Those were all headshots. 3 in a row. Very nice stuff from the young lady from Saga.
Now coming back with Tire in their pocket. Oh, but they lose a couple on the front line there. It was Apollo pushing in early, kind of taking advantage of the mismatch, and they do find several kills. Raging trying to counter back, and then Deadeye thrown in the mix from Clarity. And this has turned into a very broken engagement here halfway through point B. Raging Silent getting taken out there. Interesting fight. Interesting fight.
Yeah, he kind of got up and around and behind the payload there, and actually was creating a little bit of havoc in the back. But Dusty on the Shimada brother, taking him down between the eyes, and that was just all she wrote there. Quick last-minute recontest here on the point. Bob coming out, taking out that immortality field as well. So this could be a very interesting fight here as the fight does evolve into a bar fight. Oh my goodness. Dropping left and right. Rugby is just shredding with this supercharger and halts. Oh my goodness. Rugby giving massive value for that supercharger going out, and they actually end up picking up point B here. And now we round the corner coming into the end of Numbani here. Bullscuck, do you think that there's anything that can be changed?
Well, we did have Saga going over to the Sigma of their own prior to that last engagement, and Apollo pretty much invested everything in that fight. They do have Dragons coming online, but fortunately for them, Saga not able to really build up a whole lot as we're starting around the first bin of point C. A lot of damage coming down, and Clarity already low.
Look at Beach
finds 2 final blows as they go to turn that corner. Dusty comes up with a nice pick of his own, and now they do have some ultimates to work with here on the side of the attacking team. Saga, man, they just seem to be folded like a card table here, not putting up much resistance at all here on Numbani, and we're looking at a 4-minute time in the bank by the time all is said and done. 3 points on the board with great pace set here by Apollo.
My friend, that was lightning fast. Once they got through the streets phase, once they got, I mean, Rouse kind of stalled them up there with that 3K on the Ash, but after that, it was smooth sailing. Rugby with a huge supercharger to get it over the point for point B, and then it was just a pebble going down a mountain, and it turned into an avalanche that just flooded the streets of Numbani with blue players all over the place. Saga just not having an answer to what we haven't seen very much of, the Zenyatta play. That was the unsung hero of that round. APL Beach for Apollo with the Zen. The Omnic Sniper, I'm going to call him now. Just clicking heads and taking names and just rolling on the back of the card, while the rest of his team was just pushing forward. So I think it's a supreme amount of aggression coming out from Rugby and company there. Was what the doctor ordered. I mean, they've set a very high bar for Saga to meet. The eye test has been set here in Numbani. Wow, this is going to be a barn burner, I believe.
Well, now Apollo going on the defense, hoping that Fantastic Time is enough to give them a 2-0 lead here in this Tier 3 matchup. Coming out with the Orisa Sigma once again. And we're getting Clarity on the Ash. Dusty going over to that May. They're going to bring out the Mercy Ana support line this time around. Something a little new there in the support department. Oh, and something similar there on the offense, as we are going to see the Ana once again here. What do you make of this DPS duo coming out from Saga?
I mean, I like it. It's aggressive. You've got range. You've got spam. Oh, gosh, Dusty, you're in trouble there. You're in trouble.
They are sticking with that Orisa Sigma as well. Maywall coming up early as both Ashes find kills. 5v5 as Saga's trying to drop down onto the objective. Well, now forced to as a Halt comes through, pulls the rest of them off of that high ground. Maywall trying to divide off the Orisa, and Upriser goes down. Now the pressure coming from Apollo onto Tinson. The heal nade isn't enough to keep him alive. Somehow they're keeping him topped off. Great shooting coming from Cormac, and Tinson somehow still standing. So what? Oh, Dusty turns his attention onto Cormac. That healer was getting too much value, had to go. Finds that kill. Sustain now missing from Saga as they're looking to push onto the point, and this has turned into yet another broken engagement here on the side of Saga fighting Dikdiks.
I think that the lack of the Lucio for this week, of the hero bans this week, I think is hurting all teams concerned, as you don't have that ability to get back and contest the point quickly, not able to taxi back your slower teammates. And, you know, if you take down one of those slow characters, generally you're going to win the engagement. But some really good heads-up singular play from Dusty there on the May, contesting. He was in the little small room here, 2v1, threw up a wall and got out and lived to fight another day. Great individual play from both teams right now.
Saga sitting up. Saga choosing to come in through the low ground as Apollo is sitting up on the high ground to defend, and Saga can't even make it out the door before 4 kills just light up that feed. Clarity attributed with a pair and still looking for more, is trying to get the 2 remaining members as they flee for their lives. Junkrat down to nothing, and the TNT gets him. Oh, what a great exit kill, and what a great hold from Apollo here with just 2 minutes left on the clock.
I mean, it's go time. There's a good pull from Upriser on the Orisa in her home city, home country. I'm not sure what to call it, but VR Guile right now on this Sigma is absolutely raining hell from above with his accretion discs, taking heads and not really being put under much pressure from Saga. I think that they need to concentrate on him. I think that he's their carry right now.
Well, now the 2 tanks moving down to the low ground. Nano boost going on to Upriser on that Orisa as he's trying to take the Valk out of the sky. That's a brave move, my friend. Found the kill on to Clarity, but that was about it. Rez coming through. We're going to get the Blizzard out from the side of the defense. And now Saga starting to lose members left and right, falling like dominoes. And with just about 60 seconds on the clock, the defense so far have this thing locked down here on Numbani.
Now, the good thing for Saga right now is that they almost have Bob. Raging Satan has been getting his Riptire very quickly, and they almost have that all-important Gravitic Flex that can actually do a lot of damage should they be able to land it in there with a good Bio Nade that can actually take out half the team.
Gravitic Flux coming out from the defense. Coming out from both sides, as a matter of fact. And Tidson gets 3 with his. That's the opening you're looking for here if you are the Saga fighting Dikdiks. As they move on to point, Tenson finding himself a 4th kill. And looks like they finally unlocked the secrets here to point A.
And Corbeck did throw his nade up in there. It actually hit a shield. I think it would have killed everybody if that would have landed, but still getting 3 with the Gravitic Flux. That's a huge play, and they live to fight another day. Progress being made now into the streets phase here in Numbani. It only cost them 1 ultimate, or 2 ultimates. They actually did invest the Bob into that as well.
Now they do still have the supercharger and, like you say, that tire coming online here as Saga trying to push around Green Bus. Wall coming up, dividing the front line from the back as Apollo looking to try to get aggressive. But now supercharger out on the side of Saga as they're pushing this thing around the corner. And it's going to force a little kite back by quite a bit of space here for Saga as they try to attack in. Holt coming in. And Rouse finding the kill onto the counterpart, Ash. Good opening. Rez does come back through on it. Rouse happy to take that duel once again, cleaning off that high ground a little bit, providing a little bit of space. But now the tank line of Apollo pushing right back, and Upriser cannot withstand the assault. He goes down. Cyan dropping a tire and does find 1, but he sacrifices himself in the process. Coalescence coming out from Saga as well. But I think this fight had been lost, and resets are coming through now as they have just 90 seconds on the clock for point B.
Yeah, Rugby taking a little bit of a nap here on his team. This is not the time to be taking a nap there, buddy. You need to be up and having that shield ready.
he's just resting his eyes.
Just resting his eyes. Okay.
Nambu's coming on to Upriser on this Orisa here as they look to push back in. Intentional final fight here for Saga, for them to try to make something happen here. Blizzard coming out on the side of the defense. That catches 3. Rouse goes down. Make that 4. People caught in that Blizzard. Corbeck frozen up inside as well. Both tanks going down. The healer's not far behind here for Saga. And Apollo planting their feet and drawing a line in the sand once again here on the defense of Numbani.
Yeah, Corbeck taking the brave man's way out and just throwing himself off the side of the map to prevent any more ultimate gain by Apollo. This is a pretty solid stance from them. I'm looking to see what they have in the bank. They've got a 3-pack of ultimates, almost another Bob online for a Clarity. APLB just getting a ton of value on this Mercy, getting the reses out as they go.
He's dropping Moth and Supercharger coming out from the defense. Bob throwing into the mix as well. 3 ultimates thrown out from Apollo right out of the gate. And they're going to find kills onto Upriser as well onto the Junkrat. Raging Satan goes down. Tenzin once again trying to come through with the hero. It's going to take another massive flux. He doesn't quite find it this time. It is going to be the flux from the other side actually finding the kills. The nano boost was on to Guile there on that Sigma, and Apollo will hold on and take a 2-0 lead here in this series.
I mean, that was just fantastic coordinated team play. Stacking of ultimates being shown by Apollo right now is superior to what is being seen by the Saga fighting Dikdiks. This was an absolutely brilliant Gravitic Flux coming from Tenzin, though, picking up 3 into it and just crushing their souls. Quick little sleep coming from Corbeck too, and then taking down the Orisa there. As we go into intermission, Bull Skunk, right now, Apollo says, here's the line. We've drawn it. Meet us there.
They are in full command. They are the ones controlling, setting the pace of this map, setting the pace of this series. And it's up to Saga now to dig deep and see if they can fight this thing back, start their reverse sweep. We are going to take a little break. Y'all go get some water, stay hydrated, but don't go far. We're going to be back here on Volskaya in just a minute. We'll see you then. Welcome back, friends, to the Console Overwatch multi-tier tournament. We are here at the half with a Tier 3 matchup between Saga fighting Dikdiks and Apollo. Apollo taking not the first, but the second map off of Saga, the first that they've lost all tournament, and they are down 2-0 here as we head into Volskaya Industries. Billy, what have we seen so far here today? I know you're dealing with the alphabet soup that is the substitutions. What? Well, let's start there. What subs we got coming in? We'll keep your mind. I know you're doing the subs. Let's start there and see what adjustments. We'll go from there as far as what adjustments are going to be made as we are looking ahead at map 3.
Looking ahead to map 3. I mean, going into Volskaya, Apollo right now is owning the tank war right now. And the DPS, even though Rouse on that Ash, on that map at the long sight lines there in Numbani, taking the, I would say that Rouse took the better edge, the better part of the kills there for Saga. So I think that he wins that round as far as DPS, but not able to get it over the line and match the time that was put up by Apollo. I think Apollo just right now, they are doing the majority of the work with the tanks, and then the DPS are absolutely fragging out when those opportunities are created. So I think that if Saga's going to come back here and start the reverse sweep, then we are going to see a change in the DPS line. And Android Gamer is coming in for Rouse. We've got Rose coming in on the support line for Korbeck, and then a main tank or a tank, I guess, a flex tank swap coming in. Techie Cashew coming in for Tenzin, who was playing that Reinhardt. So that's the changes that have come in from that side. Apollo is sticking with what they've got. So I do have the ready up from both sides. My lobby finally looks like it should with all those swaps. And we're going to go ahead and head into Volskaya here.
Okay.
What I am looking for is I want to see the tank line from Saga go ahead and become the aggressors. They've taken a lot of the damage coming in, and the Maywall that Clarity has been doing to them, doing them dirty with the ice wall. A lot of it has been done. A lot of the damage has been done on the back of that. So, yeah, I think that they need to shut down the May first. That's the first thing you need to do. And I think maybe even running a Sombra at this point, something's got to change because right now, Clarity and Team Apollo are just crushing Saga right now.
Well, we are getting that change in the tank lineups kind of surprised me. I thought Tenzin did a pretty good job there with the Sigma swap, and I think Sigma was a good answer as they were looking to counter back in map 2. And then our third look at their support line. So we saw, Korbeck with Rose there in map 1, Skate and Korbeck in the support duo for map 2, and now Skate and Rose here as the support duo for map 3. So maybe some of these changes just trying to lock in some synergy. We did get a side swap. Apollo starting us off on the defense here, sticking with the Mabe. Clarity going over to the McCree here as we get started in Volskaya Industries. Beej sticking with that Zenyatta. I like the Zen pick here this week.
I do too. I mean, it offers not only, minimal healing, but let's be honest. But the ability to shield break is there. That's one thing.
So much pick potential. Upriser. Our new tank edition here for Saga coming through with first kill. Nice fire strike is going to find Clarity, but he's going to drop. No res available for either side here this time. And Guile, he is going to tilt the balance, finds one. Beej picks up one on that Zen as well. And that Omnic support hero proven to be the difference maker here in the first engagement on Volskaya.
Once again, Guile is getting so much value with his accretion disc. He actually laid skate action out on his back, putting the Irish last down, and then she was able to wraith out, fade out, and get out with her life and get back to her team. But man, the aggression, the rotations being shown by Apollo right now are actually pretty good too.
Maywall coming up, dividing off that front line as they have done all day. That forces out the Immortality field from Saga, but Rose coming up with that Ant Matrix online. Speaking of, here comes Ant Matrix and Blizzard out from the defense, and the tank line caught. They're in small room, both of them deleted immediately. Look at all the assists on that. You're frozen, you're discorded. There's Ant Matrix out there. There's no way you're going to live through all of that damage. And a retreat now coming through the defense of Apollo. Looking strong yet again here on Volskaya.
and Guile going and confirming that last kill onto the Baptiste. I mean, this is some really powerful stuff coming out from Apollo. Once again, Dusty now onto the Chinese hero is just owning them with this May play. You got to watch for this little, yep, there comes the Blizzard out, but he doesn't get anybody. Zero value from that.
Yeah, throws it a little too early, and Apollo easily just able to kite right back out of it, and then they're going to respond with the Gravitic Flux. Finds two, and the kills come through on the back of that Flux. Dusty moving in, taking out the counterpart, May, and another decisive and quick defense coming through. Nice exit kills there to finish it off.
Oh, Dusty, why you do him so dirty? Dusty, why you do Android Gamer so dirty like that? He was trying to teleport out, and she put his icicle straight through his dome. Oh, man. Minute 23 left on the clock right now, and there has been no answer to what Apollo has brought to the table so far by Saga. You do have a couple of good ults online. You've got an Earthshatter. You've got that amplification matrix. So if you get them lined up in the right way, you could do a lot of damage into them.
Apollo able to get the wall up, but Saga responding right back with one of their own. Now here comes the Transcendence. Nice job there from Saga, at least getting a couple of ults out early. Now let's see if they can weather the storm on these ultimates. 50 seconds on the clock, Supercharger, as well as that Trans used, but Clarity is going to come up with the first kill. Android Gamer going down, follows it up with a nice shot onto the Reinhardt as well. Man, oh man, Beach finding himself a pair, and the defense from Apollo indomitable here on point A.
We talked about this a lot, Volskunk, about the stacking of ults and the ultimate economy that are shown by teams.
And Apollo's doing a great job of it so far.
Yeah, it's just it's masterful. It's a masterclass in how to do it.
Well, now we've got Flux as well as Blizzard coming up online, not too far behind that for the attacking team. Flux coming out early, but they got to be careful of that Blizzard in response. Dusty getting so much value out of that ultimate here today. There is another one on the attacking team, but there's no more reinforcements standing, and there's no one even close to touching. This defense putting up a full hold here for Apollo.
You don't see full holds very often, Volskunk, here in Volskaya, especially point A. Once you get that snowball all rolling, generally the first point falls pretty quickly, but there was a very staunch defense, and they're showing a bit of unconventionalism here with the Baptiste and the Zenyatta support line. You've got the immortality barrier there, Lucky Dog is just placing to perfection, and then the Discord, they are focusing down the Discord every time Beej puts that Discord orb onto somebody. They are focusing it down as fast as you can say meow. Dusty and Clarity, though, this DPS duo is showing some serious class. I think you hit it right when we were talking about this before the match. I think that you're right. I think they did have a massive chip on their shoulder from how they lost the previous week, and I think that they've come out to prove to everybody that they belong in the upper echelons of the Tier 3 division here in the CGL multi-tier tournament season 7. I like what I'm seeing. But now I need to see what Saga's going to do. Are they going to be able to pull out? A full hold of their own?
Even if they do manage that full hold, the best they can hope for is a draw here, which means that Apollo do actually have the match victory already under their belt. Just playing for more points here and extending the dominance here in this matchup. In that vein, we are going to get the Orisa signal once again. Clarity sticking with that McCree as they come in through right side, going low round through truck. And Guile, again, just excelling on this Sigma. Comes up with first blood, trying to throw the rock in with the Hulk combo. Doesn't quite find what he's looking for there, but continuing to put oppression down onto the members of Saga. And now they're just kind of trapped in this tiny little room.
Oh my goodness,
multi-freeze coming through. Nice. Accretion's going to find the kill in an early Gravitic Flux. That's going to send Rose back to spawn. Just clean up Clinical Assault, and that's going to put the 3 points on the board easily here for Apollo.
My goodness, the aggression that was just shown there in that last, that was less than 60 seconds, Bullskunk?
Yeah, that was blink and you miss it fast.
Guile just basically jumped over the May wall that was thrown up in his way and just said, here's a rock, have a nice lunch. Yeah, I'm not sure what to say other than it's one-sided right now. The traffic is one way, and it's all coded with the Apollo coat of arms. So as we head to Route 66, that is the match right there. We all, of course, will play all 4 maps as we do here in the CGL for map points, but Apollo has already secured the win here in week 4 against one of the top teams in Tier 3.
No, I mean, not just top. Saga was downright perfect coming into week 4. And right now, it is Apollo who has been flawless so far here today.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's the tank play. That time it was the tank play. Nothing further to be said. The tanks owned that round. And, I mean, of course, the rest of the team backed them up. But that was some significant tank play. The Orisa Sigma meta has come back, ladies and gentlemen, with a force.
That's one thing that was kind of touched on in chat a little bit, and something I'd like to touch on as well was the opting for the Reinhardt there for Saga's attack. I can't help but wonder if the Orisa might not have been a better pick. They looked a little bit stronger with the Orisa there on Numbani, and then opted to go back to the Reinhardt as we come into Volskaya. Can't help. I mean, obviously hindsight's 20/20. It seems obvious now, but that may have been a bit of an uphill battle. You know, they put themselves on the deficit coming out of the gate.
Yep, personnel. It's got to be the right comp for what you think is going to go out there. The mental chess match being shown by both these teams. Right now, Apollo is, I mean, they've checkmated them. Now this is just for map points at this point.
Yes, sir. We'll be swapping sides, heading into our final map of the night. Again, this 4-map set, we do play them all because the map points can't reiterate just how important they are. You can take a look at these standings and just see how tight everybody is at the top of these standings. And then this is going to equalize these teams a bit. Both these teams move into 3-1 here after this matchup. And it looks like there's only going to be a handful of teams left there undefeated, fighting for that top spot here in the Tier 3 division.
I've got one substitute coming in. It's going to be Hydra coming in for Lucky for Apollo. As I get the the lobby from hell sorted here.
Saga looking to be sticking with the same lineup.
Saga's looking to be sticking with the same lineup as of right now. I haven't heard from Skate Action yet, so I'm waiting to see from him whether or not there's going to be any swaps for his team. I'm just trying to get the spectators all back where they belong. Let's see, quarterback 10s in general and Rouse.
Well, as we head into Route 66, this will open up the playing field a little bit. The May has been so strong from Dusty here today. Clarity able to just kind of swap around to whatever seems to be the best fit at the time. We've seen that Hanzo. We've seen the McCree. And put him good to use, the Ash as well. And I expect that to continue, although there is definitely room for adjustment here on Route 66. And with that, I think Saga might have a little room to come back. I think it's the May that's been giving him so much trouble. And with the way the sightlines are and the big open areas on this map, I don't think the May is going to be as strong. Do you anticipate we'll see change up coming through from Apollo's side, or you think they're going to continue with that May?
I mean, they showed that they can run the Hanzo quite well. Clarity showing up with the Hanzo very nicely in the middle of Oasis, and then again in Numbani.
Yeah,
so
Numbani, yes, sir.
Yeah, so I think that they can bring out the longer range characters out. So I mean, they could run the May. They could use it as a third shield, as we've seen teams do before. Once again, zoning them off with that wall. I don't think that there's any. I don't think that there's anything they can't decide to do right now. I mean, now's maybe the time to maybe try a different hero if you feel like it, because you've already got the match win. But I think that they really want to. Oh, okay.
I don't see Apollo doing any kind of messing about here at the end of this match. I think they want this thing clean. They want this thing 4-0. I mean, we did get the one sub you said coming in from there in the support role.
Yep. Hydra has come in for Lucky Dog.
Right.
And now I've got Skate. I love you, dude.
Looks like we got a little change in the support role as well there on the side of Saga. Is that correct?
Yeah, Skate wanted Korbeck in for him, and then he said, "No, put me in for Rose also." Sorry. So we're gonna get the caster support line again. I do have the readies.
So no change in that tank duo. Apparently they're happy with Techie sticking in on the Sigma. And then, I mean, once again, talking about the range of Route 66, I'm hoping we get the Orisa Sigma back. I thought that's where they looked their best as far as the tank lineup.
Yeah, so I mean, this is all for Pride now as we head into the Wild Wild West. Oh gosh, I did it again. Good grief. I was so dang worried about that.
It is quite all right. It is quite all right.
As my game decides to freak out a little bit. What are you doing, Billy? And somebody left the game too, so that also gives me.
While we're touching on that, just to kind of go through the Tier 3 division a little bit, I kind of mentioned, we had a handful of undefeated teams left. Sitting atop of the Tier 3 division right now, 4-0, you have Blaze and Reborn in the NA Xbox division, both sit at 15-1 apiece. Dignity also 4-0 with a 15-2 map record. And then Space C4 are 3-0. Does not look like they have played their Week 4 matchup, but they are sitting, as well as Tier 3 Owl, with a perfect 12-0 record. And I believe those two actually play each other this week. I'm second-guessing myself on that one, though. But it's a tight race here in Tier 3. And now Saga and Apollo will both be in that 3-1 division. Sitting, because that was, Saga was sitting right beneath T3 Owl there in the 6th slot for this division. Apollo jumping right up to the top as there's, not many teams, they're joining Astrontia and Tidal. There are both 3-1. This is a heck of a division, and I'm anxious to see how this continues to shape up as we move into about the halfway mark. Week 5, I guess technically the halfway mark through our 9-week tournament here in CGL.
I mean, it's good so far. I mean, the state of the CGL right now as we speak. I mean, I'm calling it the second third since there's 9 weeks of competition.
Yeah, kind of doing it in hockey style, huh? Doing it in periods.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, yeah. As I'm trying to do 17 things at once. Let's see. Rugby. Do you want to have Hydra? Or do you want Lucky Dog back there?
Oh. And we got Duxity correcting my pronunciation in chat. Thank you, my friend. I'm sorry if I don't get all the names right.
No, I can't do that. And you know it. Okay, hydrate.
Oh, you can look up on Beach on the way I have butchered his name in previous tournaments. So, Dusty is not so bad. It could be a lot worse, Duxity. It could be a lot worse. But I do appreciate it. I want to get everybody's names right. I mean, there's so many players.
Skate. If you haven't looked at the match chat, Bull Skunk, that's absolutely that's gold. It's gold right now. It's gold.
We'll have to check that afterwards. A little hot top juice going on there. All right, and it looks like we have finally gotten all of our ducks in a row here. No pun intended, Duxity. As we are finally heading into Route 66.
Oh my goodness, this is absolutely the best sportsmanship. I love Skate and I love General No Nips and Rugby's playing along with it. So Skate said he didn't want to lose 5v6. Dikdiks with him having 6 people on his team. Oh, you give me life, Skate. You give me life. You warmed up to us, and we absolutely adore you guys. And we're having a blast casting your guys' game tonight here as we go into the Wild Wild West there. Nice little dance coming out from Techie Cashew here. Got to appreciate the moves from the Psycho Dutchman. Yeah, so Apollo coming out in the attack here. Here we go. They're bringing out the long range comp again. Bull Skunk, and now they brought out the Moira, and they brought out the Baptiste. So this is a little bit of a change from what they've had the past couple of maps, but bringing up some massive healing here and shielding ability. But the long range comp, I think, is what's going to be the key here.
Dikdiks already on the flank, puts the flashbang down. Korvac barely able to escape. He's still going in for the res. What a, oh man, that was a big brass plate. He doesn't quite get away with it. And Dikdiks moves in, gets 3 kills on the off angle. Clarity coming in to help out his DPS partner a little bit as well. And man, don't look away because Apollo just took a great assault there on point A. Oh my goodness.
I mean, Korvac has boulders for going in for that res. I'm absolutely proud of you, and I approve wholeheartedly. You got to love a bloodthirsty, willing to sacrifice yourself with Team Mercy like that. So, recontest coming up right now. Raging saying on that Junkrat almost has a tire already. Upriser doing a little damage here on the Demon, though, Bull Skunk. This is a nice change.
Yeah, they went to a little bit of the metal dive with the Hammond Diva, and so far it's working for them. They're able to come back and get the contest, catch Apollo a little off guard. And Saga, we're finally seeing some signs of life out of them here on map 4, as they're going to plant their feet the back of point A.
They bullied the front line there of Guile and Rugby. I don't think they expected that to come out from them. So nice signs of life, as you said. But now you got to worry about the ultimate economy here.
Well, Guile making a swap over to the Hog, I think, to help deal with these dive tanks. Try to hook them in, see if they can get an early deletion. As you can see, Techie Cashew was thinking about making his pile drive move there, opted to back out. Oh, now just runs in. Oh, and that was a bad place to come out of your ball form, my friend. You were just surrounded, gets stunned and deleted. And now Clarity's going to go ahead and try to throw Dragons over point, but Upriser right there, once again, putting in some work on this Steven. Now diving in the backline, looking for the supports. They do lose Skate in the process. Coalescence now coming out from Apollo on the attacking side. Raging Saiyan caught in the laser, cannot find safety. And it does look like Apollo will come up with the goods this time around, eventually put that point on the board.
Yeah, and Duck City and just laid into Techie Casher. He was already on half health anyways, but finishing up the job there. Last minute contest coming from Rouse on the Tracer. Almost has that pulse bomb in his pocket, but that's going to be the first point here captured for Apollo. B just doing some serious work on this Moira, keeping the team up despite the metal dive that they've been running into. Uprise already has a Diva Bomb ready and a Pulse Bomb also online for Saga here. So this could be nice and interesting and spicy for the next couple of minutes.
Sign goes down early. Definitely have a lot of ultimates coming up on both sides, but Techie's got to be very careful as they're able to just hold him in place and get the kill once again onto that Wrecking Ball. Coalescence coming out on the side of Sagas. They're trying to hold here, but Rouse runs into the Helix rockets of the Soldier. And Clarity just continuing to wreak havoc here on 76. Now, Diva Bomb being thrown in on the side of the defense, not finding much. I think just trying to stall out a little bit as it's devolved into a little bit of a chaotic engagement here on the back of point B, pushing through around the clubhouse here, the biker gang clubhouse. But you do just have a couple remaining members, a couple straggling members. All right, no, never mind. The rest of Apollo are up on the high ground, making their way back into this engagement. Rugby still has his supercharger ready to go. Clarity coming up on attack visor. Duck City getting a first kill as that supercharger coming out, follows it up with a nice kill onto the Reinhardt as well, as he's just up on the catwalks, doing cowboy things, putting the Peacekeeper to good use. What a drop headshot, taking out the Ash. Duck City just apparently can't miss here on Route 66.
I also want to point out, we've mentioned that Clarity went over to the Soldier, and he was 75% to his tech visor within about 20 seconds of swapping over to that Soldier. So putting some massive work in on our favorite hit scan hero, my favorite hit scan hero. He's obviously fabulous to me for obvious reasons. But coming into this now, Rouse big kill coming in onto the Roadhog of Guile. This is where they got to make their stand. They've got to stop the bleeding somehow, Bull Skunk, because it's going all one way right now.
Yeah, Guile trying to live up to his namesake, gets a little bit too ahead of himself and just ate a ton of damage. Tyre did come out on the side of the defense, but Ed got taken down by some Helic rockets, devaluing that ultimate. Now Coalescence being thrown in from Saga as they look to try to take the fight in this tiny room, but Techie Cashews gets deleted. Upriser as well, and now Clarity responded back with a 3-man tech visor. Oh, wow, and that is going to open up the back of point C here. I don't know if there's going to be enough time for Saga to get their feet planted and try to make a last stand. We shall see. They all already on back onto the Hammond. Tucky coming back in with a nice pile driver, but Cormac dead early, and that's going to hinder this thing. No more Mortality Field left on the back end. Whole Hog coming out, but there is a supercharger there for the defense. Nobody left to take advantage of that ultimate, though. And it looks like Apollo will push this thing in. The only question now is, will Saga be able to stall?
I don't think so. That was an awesome halt coming out from Rugby there to deny them the ability to swing in onto the point and start the contest there. Man, that was clean from Apollo. 2 minutes and 9 seconds in the time bank. So now what we got to see from Saga is, what do you bring out? Because I think that you kind of tipped your hand there, showing the metal dive, even though it did net them some really good results, Bull Skunk, as it caught Apollo a bit with their pants down, and they weren't ready for it. They actually stalled it out pretty good there on the first around the first corner. But then, the swap over Guile, switching over to the Roadhog, denying the escapability of Techie Cashew. There was so much there to stop him from being able to just create havoc in the backline. Big moves coming from Apollo with Duck City on the McCree on that round. Using the flashbang to really good effect, using that CC ability with the flashbang, stopping him in his tracks. And Techie Cashew, there was a couple of times he came out of ball for him and just ate a mound of damage, and there was no way to keep him up with that.
Duck City sticking with the Ash here. Clarity on the Cowboy. And I think this composition is going to be tough for Saga to break through here. It does look like they're coming out with that Bastion composition, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. It's going to be tough for them to counter this high ground, especially with the Orisa Sigma tank line that we are seeing. What do you think? Are they just going to try to pirate ship this thing through? Will they be able to push through all of that high ground damage?
As long as the rotations are good from Apollo, I think they stay alive. And there's a quick pick right there.
Yeah, the res will come through, so they'll have to take out Bastion for a second time here for Apollo's defense. Trying to throw a flashbang down onto him, and there's the hook, dislodging him off the cart. Now he's trying to get set up back on the point, or back at the choke, and does not manage to get his feet planted before eating some shots out of Clarity. And now Apollo's going to turn their attention right onto the cart, clean this thing off. They've got the tank line split up. Orisa down in the back. The Hog putting his attention onto Techie Cashew on the Sigma, finds that kill. Now, Rouse on the Tracer, just coming through and doing their best to try to buy as much room as they can here. I think you've got to get a reset here if you're Saga, though.
Yes, absolutely. And Guile right now is showing his class on this Roadhog. You don't get to see the Australian very often, but he's doing great jobs right now. He's landing a lot of his hooks. That one unfortunately went into a shield, but the self healing abilities of Roadhog, the self-preservation, not a lot of resources having been poured into Guile. So I think it's a big pick for them, because they can actually focus with this Bastion spam coming in. They can actually focus on the other five members of the team.
So going over to the Junkrat here, as they decide to abandon the Bastion composition at the last moment, finding they weren't able to protect him well enough. Apollo doing a great job of surrounding him, and now Apollo with quite a few ultimates online. We are going to get Valk coming out on the side of Saga as they look to push in. Rouse still with that pulse bomb. Looking to see if they can have an impact here. Rouse trying to find the Ana, putting the attention down, has to throw a pulse bomb out as there's a bob at his way. And he had no more room to work. Now the whole hog coming out from Guile. And that's just going to scare off the members of Saga here, who are forced back, forced into a reset, and another defensive hold coming through from Apollo.
Yep, and I think that they have to decide, is the Tracer doing enough work? Right now, that just seems to be their downfall right now, is that Rouse on this, on the Tracer is not doing enough damage. And I once again, swapping over to, okay, now they've gone to something a little better. Swapping to the Ash, that puts a lot more long-range damage into them, and the burst damage from the TNT. So maybe this is what the recipe is for them getting this first point here on Route 66.
Yeah, they're just going to try to mirror the pit composition, see if they can find something early. And Techie Cashews does indeed take out the counterpart Flex Tank from the other side. Coalescence coming out from Saga as they push through the high cave. And now they're just going to drop down on the objective, but they still have to deal with the Cowboys on the other side and Ash and McCree. Looks like Clarity trying to go around for the flank high noon, but they are going to pick it up. He doesn't even manage to get his hand on the hammer before he drops, wasting that ultimate. And Saga now taking advantage. They're going to stay in a tight little death ball, push right forward, delete Rugby, and they are threatening to tap on this big metal door and put a point on the board.
I think they do it here. Contest at the last second. Did they get it? They did get it.
Yeah, they got the point on the board, but there was still a res came through from Hydra. That's just going to feed the ult charge here a little bit. Uprise are going to try to pet the puppy. A little celebratory, bring the dog out.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, I mean, recap there. You know, the swaps that they made, I think that the Rouse going over to the Ash, huge. Once again, taking out Clarity again. Rouse on this Ash is absolutely shredding. I don't know why you don't come out of the attack with that first.
Yeah, they do have that Deadeye online here, but we're going to get Bob available for the defense. Nano Boost coming on live for Apollo as well. Early kill coming through, but the res is there, but Clarity follows it up, takes Rouse down, follows it up with another. Both DPS fall to the hand of the Peacekeeper out of Clarity. Upriser just eventually take him down, but I think his work had been done a damage too great. And this offense, they are out of there. They're not going to win that fight.
Now, we do see Guile going back over to the Sigma that he has been rocking on all night. Upriser taking Rugby down in a Rissa 1v1. So a little bit of bragging rights there.
The Argents in the corner come out of the high ground. Gravitic Flux comes out immediately. It looks like he caught two in that. Beach is going to drop. The Ana is down. And a little bit of advantage here. And Saga trying to push forward. See if they can take advantage of this opportunity, but Cashew's gonna drop. Raging Saiyan winning the duel. Res coming back through onto Cashew. Saga back at a full 6-man, and it looks like they are in full control. Here is Street Phase. That's gonna be 2 points on the board, and they've got a little breathing room pushing into point C.
I think a full reset here for Apollo is what is needed and in order, because they're playing a little bit staggered right now. I think that if you bring out and take that little bit of time to kite back and bring it all together, I think that you hold here. Right now, passing the time of what Apollo set out as we approach 2 minutes on the time bank.
Apollo going to open up with a Gravitic Flux here. Deadeye throw into the mix as well.
Oh, that's a massive anti.
Yeah, 2 kills straight on edge side. Bomb coming in on the side of the defense, gets slept. And taken right back out. In fact, there were bombs on both sides thrown in. Apollo's able to put in a little bit more work and chase out the members of Saga here, who, despite finding a couple kills early, I think they just need to reset. Does look like Cashew and Saiyan are going to go in and see if they can find anything extra here on the back of this attack.
I like the aggressive posture coming from Saga here. This is what needs to happen.
Yep, Supercharger coming out from them as well as they're going into full frontal assault mode right up the gut. Raging Saiyan drops his Deadeye in the mix, takes down the Mercy, but they lose their Ash in the process. Okay, Res coming back through the Ash. Saga back into full 6-man. Nano Boost coming down onto Rugby, but he gets rocked Now trying to turn his attention onto that Sigma, and Cashew goes down. Rugby does fall in the process, though, without getting to use that supercharger. Dying with that ultimate in his pocket. Now, Duck City coming back in on the May. That May has been so deadly here for Apollo here today. And they're able to stall out for a little bit. The May does eventually drop, but I think the reinforcement's starting to peter out here on the side of Saga.
Well, he already has almost 80% to his Blizzard just after that first swap. Clarity swapping off the McCree and going over to the Reaper. So now you almost back to what map 1 compliments we had from Apollo in this enclosed area. I think that's exactly what you call for. You call for the May, and you just divide and conquer, and it's what won them the first 3 maps. Why not go back to it again?
Bob Colas throwing in from the offense. Apollo responding with their supercharger. Coming up on that Blizzard, as you were saying. Did get a kill coming through on Cyan, but res available. Saga back at a full 6-man. 8 seconds on the clock. They've got one last chance to prove their worth. See if they can get rid of that goose egg. Blizzard coming out. And I think the Blizzard has just frozen those hopes solid. And they are now shattered on the floor and melting into water. Apollo will hold and will take the clean 4-0 sweep here in this series.
Let me tell you what. That was a hell of a series for Apollo. I think that they just shut everybody up in the league that's been talking smack about them, saying they're kind of washed and that they're not the same team that they were. League, you're on notice. They are absolutely the team that you thought they were, and they just showed it tonight against the top team in the Tier 3. I'm not sure if they're in the Division 1 or Division 2, but the division they're in, I think, is the Division of Death, and they are showing their class right now. So this DPS duo, that's my MVP for this match, is the DPS line of Apollo. Everybody on the team doing a fantastic job. Guile, man, if
there's an honorable mention, it would be Guile. He came through big time on that Sigma, but I've got to agree, and really Duck City in particular, we saw just so much good use of that May. The May was just giving Saga so much problems. And then Clarity did a good job of cleaning up and clicking heads, but I think the ultimate usage, the big brain plays coming out of Duck City, mostly on the May, but still able to come in on those other heroes, especially there on Route 66, and really put up a stellar performance. That's my MVP of the map. What I miss? What's so funny?
In match chat, I can't.
Oh, okay. Apparently, Billy's died. We've lost him. Billy dead.
I'm gonna say it then. I'm gonna say Skate Action says I usually have to pay for a beating like that.
Oh my goodness. It was indeed. As Apollo does complete the 4-0 sweep here today. And our first of 2 matches here on this beautiful Saturday evening.
It is a beautiful Saturday evening. I've got new lighting too. I thank you, Veritaserin, for pointing out that I have new lighting. I invested in some lighting because Bullskunk and I are going to be doing a lot of this here. And I think that it's time for me to kind of invest into our craft. And so thank you for noticing that. I really do appreciate that. I want to say that both teams here, it was just a fantastic match, both sides. I mean, there was some really good fighting going on, but as we look at it, the DPS duo, this DPS duo from Apollo Tier 3 is going to be shredding their way through Tier 3.
Today, that's for darn sure. They showed up. Once again, Apollo taking it the clean 4-0. Duck City, your MVP, player of the match. And that is going to conclude it for the start of this broadcast. We are going to take about a 30-minute break, but we'll be right back here on this channel with some more Tier 2 action at 8 o'clock Eastern, as we will have the Valor Glory. Brain farted there for a second. Valor Glory will be taking on Experienced Ankility there in our Tier 2 matchup. So hopefully we'll see all of your friendly faces then. Big shout out, thank you to our players and teams for participating here today. Shout out to y'all at home for hanging out with us. And big shout out to Billy here, joining me in the booth, helping me bring you this fantastic Overwatch action.
Wash your hands.
Y'all continue to do just that. Let's flatline this virus. Watch out for each other. Look out for each other at all times, in, game, and out. And we'll see you back here in 30 minutes.
Love you guys.